She rolled her eyes mid-argument and said, "Remember your place. Without me, you'd be lost. I can replace you anytime I want." I said nothing. The next day, I canceled her phone plan, streaming accounts, and every subscription I was paying for. She called from a friend's phone panicking. I said, "Good luck replacing your sponsor," and hung up. I, 30, male, had been with Sarah, 28, for just over a year. I thought we were building something real. That ended the moment she told me I was replaceable. I went silent, nodded once, and walked out of the room. The next morning, while she slept in, I sat at my laptop with a cup of coffee and a list. Phone plan, streaming services, gym membership, cloud storage, meal kit subscription, every single thing I was paying for that had her name attached. One by one, I canceled them all. It took 40 minutes. By noon, her entire digital life stopped working. At 2:47 p.m., my phone rang from a number I didn't recognize. Her voice came through frantic, confused, demanding to know why nothing was working. I said 6 words. "Good luck replacing your sponsor." Then I hung up. She called back 9 times in the next hour. I blocked the number, blocked her on everything, and went back to my coffee. Her confidence lasted exactly as long as my credit card did. But let me rewind. I need to explain how I got here. How a relationship that started with genuine feelings turned into me funding someone else's lifestyle while being told I was lucky to have her. Because the cancellation wasn't revenge. It was clarity. And the moment she said those words, "I can replace you anytime I want," she gave me permission to stop pretending this was love. Sarah and I met through mutual friends at a rooftop party in July. She was funny, sharp, confident in a way that felt magnetic. We clicked fast. Within 2 months, we were spending every weekend together. Within 4, she was staying at my place more nights than her own. By 6 months, she had a drawer, then a closet, then half my bathroom counter. I didn't mind. I liked having her around. She talked about going back to school for graphic design. She mentioned starting a small business. She had plans, ambition, ideas. I respected that. I wanted to support that. So when her lease ended in November and she asked if she could move in while she figured things out, I said yes. That was my first mistake. Not the moving in. The "while she figured things out" part. Because figuring things out became a permanent condition. December came. She enrolled in one online course, attended 3 sessions, then stopped. January arrived. She launched an Etsy shop, posted 2 designs, then forgot about it. February passed. She talked about freelancing, but never sent a single pitch. By March, I realized the pattern. The career path wasn't being figured out. It was being avoided. And I was covering the gap. Rent, groceries, utilities, dinners out, coffee runs, everything. She contributed exactly nothing. When I brought it up gently, she said she was still building her foundation, that pressure would kill her creativity, that I was being unsupportive. I backed off. I told myself she needed time. I told myself I was being a good partner. But the spending didn't stop. It accelerated. New clothes arrived weekly. Takeout orders I didn't approve. Subscription boxes I never heard of until the charges hit. I added her to my phone plan in February because hers lapsed. She said it was temporary, just until she got back on her feet. I added her to my streaming accounts in March because she wanted to watch her shows. I added her to my gym membership in April because she said we should work out together. We worked out together twice. She kept going alone, often for 2 hours at a time, mostly to sit in the sauna and scroll her phone. I didn't say anything. I didn't want to be controlling. I didn't want to be the guy who nickel and dimed his girlfriend. But by May, I was hemorrhaging close to $800 a month on her lifestyle alone. And she never once said thank you. She said things like, "Can you update the Hulu plan so I can download shows?" She said things like, "Your Netflix is buffering again." Your Netflix. Your Hulu. Never ours. Always mine. Like I was a service provider, not a partner. I started keeping mental notes. Small things at first. The way she'd order $60 sushi deliveries on Tuesday nights when I was working late. The way she'd buy $300 jackets and justify it by saying they were investment pieces. The way she'd complain about being broke, but somehow always had money for brunch with friends. Money I later realized was coming from me, indirectly, because I was covering everything else. Her phone, her food, her rent, her existence. June hit. I checked my credit card statement and saw a $1,200 month. I sat her down. I kept my tone calm. I said we needed to talk about money. I showed her the numbers. I explained I couldn't keep covering everything while she contributed nothing. I suggested she pick up part-time work, anything, just to share the load. Her face went cold. She leaned back on the couch, crossed her arms. Are you seriously doing this right now? I said I wasn't attacking her. I just needed partnership. She cut me off. Real partners don't keep score. If you loved me, you wouldn't make me feel guilty for needing support while I build my future. I asked what future. She stared at me. Hard. Then she said, "You're such an asshole sometimes." She got up and went to the bedroom. Slammed the door. I sat there for 20 minutes, staring at the credit card statement on my phone. I felt like I was the one in the wrong. Like I was being cheap. Like I was failing her. So I apologized. I actually went to the bedroom, knocked, and apologized. I told her I wasn't trying to hurt her. I said I just needed help. She said she'd try. She didn't. The spending continued. The entitlement grew. Then came the argument. It was a Saturday afternoon in late June. I came home from the gym and found 6 shopping bags on the couch. Sephora, Zara, some boutique candle store I'd never heard of. I walked over, looked inside. New shoes, new makeup, a $100 candle that smelled like tobacco and leather. Things she didn't need bought with money we didn't have. I asked her, as calmly as I could, if she could maybe ease up on the spending for a while. She was on her phone. Didn't even look up. Here we go again. I said, "Sarah, I'm serious. This is too much." She looked up then, rolled her eyes. Not a small roll. A full theatrical rotation, the kind you do when someone's boring you. You're always complaining about money. Always making me feel like a burden. Always acting like you're doing me some huge favor. I said I wasn't complaining. I was asking for partnership. She laughed. A short, bitter laugh. Partnership? You think this is about partnership? I asked what it was about then. She stood up, looked me dead in the eyes, and said it. Remember your place. Without me, you'd be lost. I can replace you anytime I want. Silence. The air in the room changed. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I just stared at her. She stared back, waiting for me to fold like I always did, waiting for me to apologize, to backtrack, to beg her to stay. I didn't. I nodded once, slow, like I was processing something heavy. Then I grabbed my keys off the counter, walked out of the apartment, and closed the door behind me. I heard her call my name once. I didn't turn around. I drove to a coffee shop 3 blocks away. Sat in the corner booth, opened my laptop. I made a list. Every subscription. Every account. Every service that had my card attached and her name using it. Phone plan. AT&T Family Plan. Added her in February, $45 a month. Netflix. Premium 4-screen plan, $16. Hulu. No ads plan, $18. Spotify. Premium Duo, $16. YouTube Premium. Family Plan, $23. Disney Plus, $8. HBO Max, $16. Apple Music, even though she had Spotify, she said she needed both for different playlists. $11. Her gym membership. LA Fitness, Couples Plan, $60 total, $30 for her half. Her meal kit service. HelloFresh, $70 a week, $280 a month. Her cloud storage. 2 terabytes on iCloud because she refused to delete photos, $10. Even her damn Audible account. $15 a month for books she never finished. I added it all up. $763 a month. 17 different subscriptions. 17 monthly charges that quietly drained my account while she told me I was lucky to have her. I didn't cancel anything that night. I just wrote it all down, triple-checked the numbers, and saved the list. Then I went home. She was on the couch watching something on HBO Max. My HBO Max. She didn't look up when I walked in. Didn't ask where I went. Didn't apologize. Just kept scrolling her phone with the TV on in the background, double screening, wasting both subscriptions at once. I went to the bedroom, lay down, and stared at the ceiling. I thought about what she said. I can replace you anytime I want. The more I thought about it, the clearer things became. She didn't see me as a partner. She saw me as a wallet. A convenience. A service plan she could upgrade or cancel depending on her mood. And the moment someone sees you that way, you're not in a relationship. You're in a transaction. And I was done being her ATM. Sunday morning. She slept in like she always did, didn't roll out of bed until 11. I woke up at 7:30, made coffee, and sat down at the kitchen table with my laptop. I pulled up the list. I started with the phone plan. Logged into my AT&T account. Navigated to manage lines. Clicked on her number, selected remove line. Confirmed I understood the charge would drop next billing cycle. Clicked confirm. Done. 8:17 a.m. Then Netflix. Opened the account settings. Removed her profile. Downgraded from premium 4 screens to basic 1 screen. Save changes. Done. 8:23 a.m. Hulu. Same process. Removed her profile. Canceled the no ads add-on. Dropped it back to basic with commercials. 8:28 a.m. Spotify. Canceled the duo plan. Switched back to individual premium just for me. 8:31 a.m. YouTube Premium. Gone. Disney Plus. Canceled. HBO Max. Canceled. Apple Music. Canceled. Every single streaming service. One by one. Click. Confirm. Done. Her gym membership required a phone call. I called LA Fitness customer service at 9:15 a.m., waited on hold for 6 minutes listening to aggressive upsell messages. Finally got a rep named Todd. I explained I wanted to remove the second member from my couple's plan. He asked if I was sure. I said yes. He asked if there was anything he could do to keep us both enrolled. I said no. He processed it. Took 4 minutes. Effective immediately. Her key card would stop working by end of business day. Done. 9:26 a.m. meal kit service. Logged into HelloFresh. Paused deliveries indefinitely. Saved $80 a week starting next Monday. 9:31 a.m. cloud storage. This one was trickier. I couldn't cancel her iCloud directly, but I could remove my payment method from her Apple ID family sharing. Did that. Her 2 terabytes would downgrade to free 5 gigabytes in 30 days. Then her photos would start auto-deleting oldest first unless she paid herself. 9:40 a.m. Audible. Canceled her membership. She'd keep her existing books, but no more monthly credits. 9:43 a.m. By 10:20 a.m., I was finished. 17 cancellations in just under 2 hours. I closed the laptop. I felt lighter. I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel guilty. I felt clear. Like I'd been carrying weight I didn't realize was there until I set it down. I made a second coffee. I sat on the balcony. I waited. She woke up around 11, shuffled into the kitchen in my oversized hoodie, poured herself coffee, grabbed her phone. I watched her from the balcony through the glass door. She scrolled, half asleep, tapping through apps like she did every morning. Instagram first, double tapping through stories. Then messages. Then emails. Nothing seemed wrong yet. The cancellations wouldn't hit until she tried to actually use something. I waited. I didn't have to wait long. At 2:47 p.m., my phone rang. Unknown number. Local area code. I let it ring twice, then answered. Hello. Her voice exploded through the speaker. High-pitched, frantic, layered with panic I'd never heard before. What the hell did you do? My phone isn't working. I can't call anyone. None of my apps are working. Netflix says I don't have an account. Spotify keeps playing ads every 2 songs. What did you do? I stayed calm. My voice was flat, almost bored. I canceled everything. Silence. 3 full seconds of dead air. Then, quieter, confused, like she couldn't process the words. What do you mean everything? I said, slow and clear, your phone line, your streaming accounts, your gym, your meal kits, your subscriptions, all of it, everything I was paying for. Her voice cracked. You can't just do that. You can't just cancel everything without telling me. That's insane. I said, you told me you could replace me anytime you wanted. So go ahead, replace your sponsor. Then I hung up. 3 seconds later, she called back. I declined. She called again. Declined. Again. Declined. Again. Declined. 5 calls in 2 minutes. Then the text messages started flooding in from the unknown number, clearly her friend's phone. Are you serious right now? This is insane. You're acting like a child. I didn't mean it like that. You're being so petty. Just turn everything back on, and we can talk like adults. I can't believe you're doing this over one argument. You're ruining my whole day. I need my phone for work stuff. How am I supposed to contact anyone? This is financial abuse. That last one made me laugh out loud. Financial abuse. From the person who spent $11,000 of my dollars in 6 months and contributed 0. I read them all. I didn't respond to a single one. Then I blocked the number. I opened every social media app, every messaging platform, and blocked her everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, WhatsApp, even LinkedIn just to be thorough. I didn't want to hear her voice. I didn't want to see her name. I wanted silence. And I got it. For about 6 hours. Then my phone started ringing again. Mutual friends this time. Her best friend Claire called first around 9 p.m. Hey, so, Sarah's really upset. She's at my place. She said you guys had a fight and you cut off all her accounts. That seems pretty extreme, don't you think? I kept my voice even, reasonable. I said, she told me she could replace me anytime she wanted. I gave her the chance. Claire paused. I heard muffled voices in the background, probably Sarah feeding her lines. Then Claire tried again, softer, like she was negotiating a hostage situation. Okay, but she didn't mean it. She was just angry. You know how she gets when she's emotional. I said, yeah, I do. That's exactly why I'm done. Claire's tone shifted, frustrated now. You're really going to throw away a whole year over one argument? That's ridiculous. I said, I'm not throwing anything away. She did. The moment she said I was replaceable, Claire tried to interrupt. I talked over her. Ask her how much I spent on her in the last 6 months. Ask her how much she contributed. Then ask yourself if I'm the one who threw it away. Then I hung up. 2 more friends called within the hour. Marcus, then Jenna. Same script. Sarah's devastated. You're overreacting. She didn't mean it. Relationships have fights. Just talk to her. Be the bigger person. I gave them all variations of the same answer. She said what she said. I responded. Conversation over. Marcus at least had the decency to say, damn, bro. That's cold. I said no. Paying for someone's entire life while they call you replaceable is cold. I just stopped paying. He didn't have a response to that. By Monday morning, I knew she wasn't staying at the apartment anymore. I came home Sunday night around 11 and all her stuff was still there, clothes in the closet, makeup scattered across the bathroom counter, but she was gone. Probably still at Claire's. Fine by me. Gave me time to breathe. I started going through my bank statements more carefully, really digging into the numbers beyond just the subscriptions. Dinners out, $200 a month. Always places she picked, always expensive. Coffee runs, another $100 a month, her daily Starbucks habit I enabled. Random Amazon orders, $300 a month average. Boxes showing up with things she needed, scented candles, throw pillows, skincare products that cost more than my car payment. Ubers and Lyfts, another $150 a month because she refused to take the bus or subway, said it was beneath her. I added it all up. Over the past 6 months, I'd spent just over $11,000 on her. $11,243 to be exact. And she contributed zero. Not $1. Not one meal. Not one tank of gas. Not even a thank you gift. Nothing. I screenshotted everything. Every transaction. Every charge. Every receipt I could find. I didn't know if I'd need it, but I wanted proof. Proof I wasn't crazy. Proof I wasn't the villain she was probably painting me as to everyone who'd listen. Tuesday afternoon, my phone buzzed. Instagram notification. Someone tagged me in a story. I was blocked by Sarah, but a friend forwarded it to me. It was a black screen with white text in that cursive font people use when they want to seem deep. When you support someone unconditionally and they turn on you the second you have a bad day. Toxic men will show you exactly who they are the moment you stop being convenient for them. Choose yourself. I stared at it. Then I laughed. Not a bitter laugh. A genuinely amused one. She was actually trying to spin this. Trying to make herself the victim. Trying to pretend I was the problem, the toxic one, the villain who abandoned her over one bad day. I didn't respond publicly. I didn't post my own story. I didn't subtweet. I didn't engage. I just forwarded the screenshot to 3 mutual friends with a single message and an attachment. Ask her how much I spent on her in the last 6 months. Attached was a PDF of my credit card statements with her charges highlighted in yellow. $11,243. Then I put my phone down and went to the gym. My gym. The one I paid for. Alone. Within 2 hours, 2 of those friends called me back. Both said variations of the same thing. Holy shit, dude. We had no idea. Marcus said Sarah had been calling around asking people for money. Small amounts, 50 here, 100 there, saying she was between jobs and needed help covering rent until her next freelance check came through. Rent she wasn't paying because she was living with me for free. Marcus said he almost sent her money via Venmo until he saw my message and the statements. He called her, asked her directly, how much was your boyfriend covering? She hung up on him. Blocked him on everything within 5 minutes. The other friend, Jenna, said Sarah tried to borrow her Hulu password earlier that day and got weirdly defensive when Jenna asked why she didn't have her own. Jenna said, wait, I thought you lived with your boyfriend. Doesn't he have all the streaming stuff? Sarah's response was, he cut me off like a psycho. Jenna asked why. Sarah said, it's complicated, then changed the subject. When Jenna pressed, Sarah got annoyed and said forget it, she'd figure it out herself, then left Jenna's apartment 20 minutes later. By Wednesday morning, Sarah's Instagram story was deleted. By Thursday, 3 more mutual friends reached out to me privately. All said the same thing. They were getting her side of the story. Poor Sarah abandoned by her terrible boyfriend. But the numbers didn't match up with the victim narrative. She was saying I cut her off out of nowhere, ghosted her, left her stranded with no warning. But when they asked for details, she got vague. When they asked what the fight was about, she said it was too personal to talk about. When they asked if she was working, if she'd been contributing to expenses, she changed the subject or got defensive. People started connecting dots. I didn't have to say a word. I didn't have to defend myself. The truth did the work for me. Silence was louder than any explanation I could give. Friday evening, my phone rang. Another unknown number. I almost sent it to voicemail. But something told me to answer. I picked up. Hello. It wasn't Sarah. It was her mom, Patricia. I'd met her twice. Once at Thanksgiving, once at Sarah's birthday dinner in April. Her voice was tight, formal, carefully controlled. Hello. This is Patricia, Sarah's mother. I don't know exactly what happened between you two, but Sarah moved back home yesterday. She says you left her stranded with no phone, no way to pay for anything, no support, no warning. I stayed calm, kept my voice respectful. I said, did she tell you what she said to me? Her mom hesitated. I heard her take a breath. She said you had an argument about spending, that you overreacted. I said, did she tell you the exact words she used? Silence. Then, quieter, what did she say? I said, she told me I should remember my place. That without her, I'd be lost. That she could replace me anytime she wanted. Silence. 5 full seconds. Then, even quieter, Patricia said, she said that? Those exact words. I said, word for word. So I let her try. I removed my financial support and gave her the chance to replace me like she said she could. More silence. I could hear Patricia breathing, processing. Then she said, I'm sorry. I didn't know she said that. I said, it's fine. I'm not angry at you. I'm just done with the situation. Her mom paused again. Then she said, for what it's worth, I think Sarah needs to figure herself out. She's been like this since college. Coasting on other people, expecting support without contributing, burning bridges when people set boundaries. That caught me off guard. Her own mother admitting the pattern. Patricia continued, I love my daughter, but I'm not blind. And I'm sorry she did this to you. I said, I appreciate that. We talked for another minute, both agreeing Sarah needed to grow up. Then we hung up. That call felt like validation from an unexpected source. That was the turning point. After Friday, I didn't hear from Sarah again. No more frantic messages from borrowed phones. No more friends calling on her behalf, trying to mediate. No more Instagram stories painting me as the villain. Just silence. The kind of silence that means someone realized they lost, and they're trying to quietly disappear before more people find out the truth. I stayed in the apartment, kept my routine, went to work, hit the gym, saw friends, lived my life. It felt normal again. Better than normal. I had money in my account for the first time in months. I wasn't stressed checking my credit card balance. I wasn't walking on eggshells around someone's mood swings. I wasn't being told I was replaceable while simultaneously funding someone's existence. I was just existing, peacefully, alone. 2 weeks later, Marcus told me Sarah was back on dating apps. Already. He saw her profile on Hinge. Pictures taken in my apartment, poorly cropped to cut me out, my couch still visible in the background, my bookshelf in the frame. Her bio said she was a creative entrepreneur and freelance designer looking for someone who values ambition and growth. Marcus screenshot it, sent it to me. I stared at it for a full minute. Creative entrepreneur. Freelance designer. She hadn't worked a single job in over a year. Hadn't sent a single pitch. Hadn't finished a single project. Marcus said, think she'll find another sponsor? I said maybe, but not one who'll put up with what I did. He said, how long you think it'll last? I said, depends on how long it takes the next guy to check his credit card statement. He laughed. I didn't, because I wasn't laughing at her anymore. I was just relieved I got out when I did. A month passed. I ran into Claire at a coffee shop, the same one I went to the day of the cancellations. She saw me in line, hesitated, then walked over. Hey, can we talk for a second? I said sure. We grabbed a table in the corner. She looked uncomfortable. Started with, I owe you an apology. A real one. I waited. She continued. Sarah told me you just snapped one day and cut her off out of nowhere. She made it sound completely random, like you woke up and decided to be cruel. I believed her at first. I said, and now? Claire sighed. Now I know better. She's been staying with different friends the past few weeks, burning through favors like they're unlimited. She tried to move in with me full time. I said no. She got mad, said I was being unsupportive, that real friends help each other. I reminded her she hasn't paid for a single meal the entire time she's been crashing at my place. She said she'd pay me back when her business takes off. I asked what business. She didn't have an answer. Claire looked down at her coffee. She's been asking people for money. Not just small amounts anymore. 200 here, 300 there. She told Mike she needed help with a security deposit for a new apartment. She told Jenna she had a medical emergency and needed money for a prescription. Different stories to different people. I started comparing notes with everyone. None of it adds up. I said, that sounds about right. Claire nodded. I get it now. You weren't the bad guy. You were just the first person to actually say no and mean it. I said, I wasn't trying to be the good guy or the bad guy. I was just trying to stop being used. Claire said, well, for what it's worth, you made the right call. She's already on to the next target. Some guy she met on a dating app. They've been on 2 dates, and she's already talking about how generous he is, how he paid for this, bought her that. I said nothing. Claire stood up. Anyway, I just wanted you to know I get it now. And I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. I said it was fine. She left. It felt like the final piece of closure I didn't know I needed. 3 months later, I'm writing this from the same apartment. Same place, but it feels completely different now. Lighter. Mine again. The space isn't shared with someone who saw me as a checkbook with legs. I'm not funding someone else's lifestyle while being told I'm lucky to do it. I'm not hemorrhaging money every month on subscriptions I don't use for someone who doesn't appreciate them. I'm just living. I started seeing someone new about a month ago. Her name's Amy. She has her own career, works in marketing, has her own apartment in the next neighborhood over, pays her own bills, has her own Netflix account. The first time we went to dinner, she reached for the check when it came. I said I'd get it. She said, okay, but next one's mine. I thought she was being polite. The next one actually was hers. She paid, didn't even hesitate, didn't make it a thing. That's what partnership looks like. Equal effort. Mutual respect. No scorekeeping because there's nothing to keep score of. Everything's balanced from the start. When I told her about Sarah, not all the details, but enough, she said, good for you for walking away. A lot of people wouldn't have. I said I should have done it sooner. She said, but you did it. That's what matters. I think about Sarah sometimes. Not often. Not with anger. Not with regret. Just with clarity. She taught me what I won't accept. She taught me that love isn't a transaction, but if someone treats it like one, you're allowed to close the account. She told me I was replaceable. She was right. I was. And so was she. The difference is, I replaced her with peace, with boundaries, with self-respect. She replaced me with nothing. Because the kind of partner she wanted didn't exist. Someone who'd fund her life indefinitely, absorb her disrespect, accept being called replaceable, and still stick around begging for crumbs of affection. That's not a partner. That's a fantasy. And reality caught up with her the moment my credit card stopped working. I don't regret the year. I don't regret the support I gave when I thought we were building something real. I regret staying as long as I did after the red flags became impossible to ignore. But I don't regret leaving. The moment she said those words, I can replace you anytime I want, she handed me the key to the door. I just had to be strong enough to use it. And I was. 6 words in response. Good luck replacing your sponsor. Then I hung up. And I never looked back. Some people think silence is weakness. It's not. Silence is clarity. It's the refusal to argue with someone who's already decided you're disposable. It's the understanding that actions speak louder than words. And sometimes the loudest thing you can do is walk away without explanation, without drama, without giving someone the satisfaction of a reaction. I didn't yell. I didn't fight. I didn't beg her to see my worth or understand my side. I just removed my support and let reality do the teaching. And reality was harsh. Because confidence without contribution is just arrogance. And arrogance collapses the moment the foundation gets pulled. She could replace me anytime she wanted. But apparently, Replacing a monthly income of $763 was harder than replacing a person. Her confidence lasted exactly as long as my credit card did. And when the charges stopped, so did the relationship. Not because I was petty, not because I wanted revenge, because I finally respected myself enough to stop paying someone to disrespect me. That's the lesson. That's the closure. That's the ending. I won. Not because I hurt her, but because I stopped letting her hurt me. And that's the only victory that matters. Some rings start wars. Mine bought silence. And in that silence, I finally found peace.